in the Bible, over and over and over and over, what's the most common phrase? Be not afraid. Do not fear. Now, personally, I'm not a Christian. I grew up Catholic. But I think anyone or most people would say, okay, there was probably something to this Jesus dude. He probably knew a thing or two. You could view him from a spiritual sense as one of the illuminated ones, one of the enlightened ones, or probably someone you could learn something from. Well, obviously, main character of the book or part of the book. How interesting that over and over and over and over, do not fear. One of the greatest gifts we can give to ourselves and to women is to operate from courage and love. And I like those two together because that can mean knowing something is the right thing to say to someone or ask someone, like, hey man, my buddy's going through it. Then I got to ask him this question. It kind of puts some pressure on him. But that's going to have him need to have to take a look at himself and figure out what's going on. Or someone's being treated bad and it's uncomfortable, or someone's saying something and being disrespectful to someone in public, and it's like, oh man, I wish someone was here. I wish someone would back me up so I could do something about this, so I could step up. And that person is you. What if you were to operate in the world without fear? Now, it's great to say what it is or what it isn't, right? Do not be afraid. I can say courage and love, that's my take on it, or some of it. But what does it mean to not be afraid? Over the last couple of years, my own journey and some of the people I respect and I'm inspired by the most, and I have the most love for with respect, because there's people I love that based on what they say they want and how they live their life, it's hard for me to respect them the way I would love to. The thing that stood out in my life, and I'm thinking of two men in particular who I really admire, love, and respect. And I asked both of them, and I was like, what's really changed in your life? Like, your life's really changed in the last year, 2 years, like to where one guy I hadn't seen in a while, and the other guy I see a few times a year. The other guy I hadn't seen in maybe a year or two. Didn't say do not fear, but it was pretty close. Faith. Faith. Now, I'm not suggesting you want to take this in a religious sense. If it resonates with you, do that. If that's, you know what to do. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But certain emotions obviously have frequencies. You probably heard that. I like to think of them in things more literal and tangible. If you're a guy and you're with a woman you love, it's really, really tangible that you can really relate to, that can be kind of uncomfortable or really great? An erection, right? So if you thinking of be not afraid and you go like, well, I hope things work out. Hope is not like even half an erection. Like, it's not, without painting too much of a picture, it's not completing the job, if you know what I mean, bro. Hope will not get you there. If someone is depressed and suicidal, hope can be an amazing spark to kindle a fire, to grow something, to inspire you, and to have a different level of belief. So hope doesn't cut it. And also thinking of not being afraid is actually poor focus. It's great that that's what shows up in the Bible, but to go, all right, well, I want to get in this car. What do you want to do? Do you want to get from New York to LA safely, or do you want to not crash? Energetically and linguistically, we don't want to focus on what we don't want. I don't want a woman like my ex. Okay, what do you want? I don't want to be fat anymore. Great, what do you want? I don't want someone who smokes. Cool, what do you want? Oh, you want someone who's health conscious. Oh, you want someone who's meditates. You want someone who this. So let's think of it as levels. If hope is way down here, Other things would be like confidence, belief, faith. And these are all empowering, much better than being afraid, right? Being ashamed, feeling guilty. And as I talked about earlier, right now and for the times that are coming, and regardless of what you believe about politics, regardless of what you believe about AI, the world's just gonna change a lot. Even if there are, let's call them the powers that should not be, not the government, because they're kind of like the government's like a street thug that's controlled, like the mafia bosses that run the world, the powers that should not be, use your whatever, fill in the blank with whatever secret society or secret societies you enjoy. Even if people out there, or whatever you believe, are pulling these strings, there is such an amount of change coming in this world, and it's going to continue. No one really knows what the fuck is going to happen, which makes it kind of fun. At the same time, it makes it feel very, very, very uncertain. As a guy, you have a different relationship with certainty and safety than women do. The deeper sense you have of belief, faith, a state that's even more intense than all those that we'll get to in a moment, a sense of certainty, a sense of confidence, that's a gift you give to everyone. That's a gift you give when you sit down and your buddy finally opens up to you that he's really depressed and maybe even suicidal. And it kind of freaks you out at first, and you think, man, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a coach, I'm not professionally trained to handle this, but you know what? You're the only dude he's sitting in front of right now that he actually trusts and has confidence in that'll listen to him and help him. So God, the universe, whatever you believe, just nominated you to step up to the job. The level of confidence, certainty, faith we have is never been more important than right now. Because as the world changes, as currencies go up and down, as religions don't agree, as this country goes to war with this country, or a new war that hasn't happened yet, or a bomb, or whatever it is, something that's unexpected, as there's money lost in your personal life, someone gets sick, someone dies, a divorce, your girlfriend leaves you, your dad saw something today, some guy's dad's suing him, your dad is suing you, that's kind of a weird one. The level of belief, faith, and certainty you have in yourself is paramount. And it's contagious. It's something that doesn't just live in your mind, but it lives in your heart and it lives in your nervous system. And as you don't just think those thoughts, but you embody that now, it's one of the greatest gifts you can give to humanity. Give to yourself, give to your kids, give to your partner, give to your future partner. And if you stay this long on the video, this is resonating. There's another level that exceeds all those other levels. Hope, we know that's kind of like half an erection, not getting the job done. Faith, confidence, certainty. There's another level that's so different, and it requires a deeper level of faith, let's say, and a deeper level of kind of letting go, because you're not going to know exactly how it's going to work out. And it's knowing. Something in you fucking knows. Something in every cell of your body knows. Something in your heart knows. Something in your balls know. And they're aligned. They're not in conflict. It's another video. Something in you knows. And that's a state you can access. That's a state you can condition. It's very telling of the times, very fascinating. I've seen more and more men that they have a breathwork session, they have a meditation, they go to a plant medicine ceremony or something like that, and that phrase comes up. And sometimes what happens is then it's like, oh my gosh, I have this like clarity, this knowing. Let me grab my notebook. I've done this, by the way. Let me write this down. What do I know? What do I know? And I think oftentimes more than anything, it's a wisdom that lives in our heart that the mind can kind of grasp it, but it's not a 14-step action plan. But there's a knowingness. If you choose to condition yourself, this knowingness will reveal itself more and more and more and more. I fucking promise you. Why? Because I see the guys that I work with that are around me do it. I've seen myself do it. I've seen men that I looked up to and had a lot of respect for from years back are accessing more or less the same thing. And it's nothing someone can give you. It's something that God, the universe, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, a freak accident that's working out beautifully, can nudge you. And you can step into a greater sense of knowing. What I do know for sure is hope, confidence, certainty, belief. It is moving up the scale, but faith, we have throw faith back in there, but knowing is another level. Why I wanted to make this video tonight before I go out and dance salsa with my buddy who's visiting me, not with him, but we're going together with some girls. Something in you knows, my brother. Your heart knows. And the more you get in touch with that, the more you listen to that, life will seem crazy at times like it always does. And things will go what you think are off path, but something in you knows. Conditioned faith, conditioned belief. And if you're up for the challenge, bring yourself to a place of knowing. Something in you knows. Something in you that has nothing to do with any other person on this planet, with money, with what city you live in, whatever. Something in you fucking knows. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon, gents.